So far, you've seen that customer talks to fraud microservice on port 8081 via HTTP. Now in here, we only have one instance of customer and one instance of fraud. But what about if fraud gets too busy and we have to bring up a second instance? Now you can see that customer can talk to fraud via this port 8081, but also via this port, which is 8085. Now, in order for this to be possible, customer would need to know all the existing ports for fraud. Now, you can see that this is a problem. If fraud scales to, let's say, 10 instances, then customer needs to know about all of those 10 instances, i.e. all of their ports and where they are running. And this is when Service Registry comes to rescue. And in this course, we're going to kick off with Eureka Service Discovery, but later as we move to Kubernetes, you will see that we won't need Eureka Server at all. But still good practice for you to fully understand how it works. So Service Discovery is the process of automatically detecting devices and services on a network. So on this side, we have our microservices. So because we are using Eureka, we're going to refer as the Eureka clients. And then we also have the server itself. Now, the server, this is where the clients will register themselves. So when they register, the server will know the exact information where the service is running, i.e. the host as well as the port. Then the microservices as well, whenever they need to talk to another microservice, they will basically look up to this server as well. And this is how they can connect with each other. So the server knows all the client applications running on each port and IP address. And now let me demonstrate to you how it works if we were to have two instances of fraud. So before I said that customer would need to know all the ports for fraud, i.e. 8081 as well as 8082 or 8085, right? Now, customer, the first thing that it does, registers itself as a client to the Eureka server. The same with fraud. So this instance of fraud as well as this instance of fraud. So now this server right here has information about the IP addresses as well as the ports for all microservices. Then if customer wants to talk to fraud, let's say through HTTP, the first thing that it does, it sends a service discovery request, i.e. where does fraud lives. Then the server in here will return the address for one of these services, i.e. this one right here or this one running on port 8082. And then off it goes the request to, for example, let's say this instance of fraud. So this is how it works. Now you can see that in here we have a bottleneck. So this Eureka server, if for whatever reason it goes down, so if this goes down, then you can see that how all of these microservices are meant to talk to each other. So this is why it's very important that we do our best to keep this server up and running at all costs. But later, as you'll see when we move to Kubernetes, we won't need to use this Eureka server, which will be one less pet for us to worry about. Next, let's go ahead and install the Spring Cloud dependency in order for us to set all of this up.